Well, hello and welcome to the second video in my collection of calculus videos, and this has to do with definition of the derivative. So the definition of the derivative I've listed up here. It's f prime of x equals the limit as h goes to 0 of f of x plus h minus f of x all over h. So let's take, first of all, we'll take f of x plus h. And the y equals is the same as f of x. So f of x plus h means I substitute x plus h in for the x. So we have negative 4 x plus h squared minus 5 x plus h minus 2. Then I multiply negative 4, well, I do the squaring first. X squared plus 2xh plus h squared. And this is minus 5x minus 5h and minus 2. And so this is going to be negative 4x squared plus 2xh. Nope, that's 8. Hold on a sec. Yeah. That's minus 8xh and minus 4h squared minus 5x minus 5h and minus 2. So now we've got this first part done, and now I have to subtract off the f of x. Okay, so now I'm going to move this over here. Give me some room there. And now I'm going to subtract off the original f of x. Minus 4x squared minus 5x minus 2. Alright, so let's work on that one. Notice we have a minus. Each one of these is minus, so that makes all these pluses. We've got a negative 4x squared and a positive 4x squared. So those will cancel each other out. I've got a negative 5x, or a minus 5x and a plus 5x. Those cancel. And I've got a minus 2 and a plus 2. Those cancel. So here's what I'm left with. And I'm just going to go ahead and write the whole thing out. The limit as h goes to 0 of negative 8xh minus 4h squared minus 5h. And that's all over h. Now I can't evaluate this right now the way it is because I've got h in the denominator, and that would give me a 0 denominator, which is undefined. So, but if you notice, all the terms in the top have an h term in them, so I can divide out the h part. That h goes away, that becomes just h, and that h goes away. So now I end up with limit as h goes to 0 of negative 8x minus 4h minus 5. And now I can plug in a 0 for the h, and the answer becomes negative 8x minus 5. Okay? This is the definition of the derivative You won't have to do this every single time you want to take a derivative. This is just the definition of it. We're going to be using a lot more rules and shortcuts to make this simpler. Alright, here's the next problem. We got f of x equals square root of 4x minus 5. So I'm going to do the f of x plus h, which is just the square root of 4x plus h minus 5. Okay, so let's move that over here. So what I've got now is square root of 4x plus h minus 5, and then subtract off the f of x, which is just square root of 4x minus 5, and that whole thing is over h. So we've got to do some simplifying here because we can't cancel out any h's, but we can use the difference of squares. We can take this top thing, which is this minus this, and multiply it by the same thing plus this. Okay. So I'm going to move all this up just to give us some more room to work with. So when I do this, square root of 4x plus h minus 5 minus square root of 4x minus 5, and I multiply that by square root of 4x plus h minus 5 plus the square root of 4x minus 5. Okay, so then on the bottom I've got h times square root of 4x plus h minus 5 plus square root of 4x minus 5. And now this is the situation where we have a minus b times a plus b. Difference of squares becomes a squared minus b squared. So that means this thing is square root of 4x plus h minus 5 squared minus square root of 4x minus 5 squared. Okay, move that up some more. And this part here still stays the same. I'm just not going to write it again. So now the square root squared just becomes 4x plus h minus 5, and then minus 4x minus 5. So we're squaring the square root of something. So let's simplify that. 4x plus 4h minus 5 minus 4x plus 5. And we got some cancellation there and there, there and there. So what I have left is 4h over h times square root of 4x plus h minus 5. And this is something you don't want to get in a hurry when you're copying things, because that's where mistakes are made. Just take your time, just make sure it's copied correctly. Alright, now we're still doing limit as h goes to 0, but the h here and the h here cancel. So now I can just put in a 0 right there. And let's see what happens when I do that. I have a 4 over, and this is going to be the square root of 4x, and the h is 0, so it becomes just 4x minus 5, and then plus square root of 4x minus 5. This ends up being 4 over 2 square root 4x minus 5, and the answer is just 2 over the square root of 4x minus 5. So you can see working these kind of problems is very cumbersome. We're learning how to do it and to appreciate exactly what is involved in taking a derivative, but you'll soon get to where you're not even going to be working these type problems anymore. Okay. I do personalized tutoring for math, so if you need any additional one-on-one help for calculus or pre-calculus or AP stats, please contact me at my website. And while you're there, you can register for a free download. This will help you overcome test anxiety. Click on that download and you'll be registered to receive a lot of good tips and tricks and special offers from me on a regular basis. So thank you again for watching. See you in the next video.